Welcome to the AZ Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Hamid Shojai. Arizona's tech ecosystem is rapidly growing with incredible companies that are shaping our future. Every week, I sit down and talk with some of the people who are making an impact in this critical sector of Arizona's economy. All right, let's go. All right, I'm here with Saeed Eslami, founder and CEO of VisualLive. Hey, Saeed. How are you?
Hey, good.
So you actually just recently sold VisualLive to Unity.
Yep.
Congratulations on that, first of
you.
all. That's an incredible accomplishment to build a company that then gets bought by another large company.
Thank you.
In this case, Unity, which is a publicly traded company. But first, let's start with, what did VisualLive do? And then, there's so much I want to talk to you about, and we share the same background in that we're both Iranian. You more recent immigrant from Iran, and me further back. So a lot of things that I want to talk about and touch on in this podcast interview. But let's start with VisualLive, because that's the reason you're here as a guest. So tell us what did VisualLive do?
Sure.
Or what does it do?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, of course.
You have a great podcast. I watch most of the episodes,
Thank you.
So VisualLive is a software company that makes it easy for end users, which are construction people, mostly people in AEC industry, architectural engineering and construction, to be able to push their CAD and BIM model files. BIM is like 3D CAD files, large CAD files, like a building, like hotels, the early construction projects. Being able to push or upload the CAD files to augmented reality devices such as iPhone, iPad, or Microsoft HoloLens. These are goggles that Microsoft has made. It's augmented reality goggle. It was back in 2016 that Microsoft actually launched this product called Microsoft HoloLens. That you can put it on. It's not a virtual reality, it's augmented reality glass. It means that you can see through it. At the same time, you can see the digital content. But when Microsoft launched it, they didn't know what market they want to hit. So they just put some marketing out there that it can be beneficial for game, for educational, for training, for defense, for many applications. It was very cool video in that marketing that can be used in construction too, in a 3D model files. But it was not an easy solution to upload the CAD or 3D model files from like Autodesk software or Trimble software or Hexagon software that people usually design with.
Right.
So what VisualLive did, we made a bridge between these CAD software company like Autodesk or AutoCAD, Revit, Navisworks, and this Microsoft goggle to make it easy for end users that they don't want to develop any code, they don't want to write any code, to just push a button and get their files to augmented reality glass so they can go to the field and see their files, see their CAD files in the field.
In the field. And I think that's like what's key there, because like you can actually see, like, and can you give an example, like you can see pipelines and stuff in your building essentially, like through these HoloLens glasses?
Yes, most of our clients use it for MEP content, which is mechanical, electrical, and piping.
Okay.
So
you can see where you should be planning them or where they are, even if it's in a already constructed building.
That's right, yeah. So you can actually see that pre-construction before actually starting building it, or if you have existing building that you want to do any renovation, add more pipe, cable tray, conduit. So you want to actually see if the design is going to fit in your real-world application. Okay. So then in that case, they're going to use the software of VisualLive. They upload their model files. Instantly, they get it on the headset. They can go to the field. We have like a easy QR code system that they can just scan a QR code. It's going to align the model automatically.
Oh, wow.
So then they can actually see...
To the building that you're physically in.
Yes. Because when you upload the 3D model files... The model file doesn't know how to align to the real building. Yeah. But the unique system about the VisualLive is these QR code markers. Okay. That when they upload a model file, they say the QR code should be this part of the building. Okay. They print it out. They go to the field. They just put it in the same location, corresponding location. Right. They just scan it by HoloLens or iPhone, iPad. So it's going to load the model and align the model on the right location in the field.
Wow. And then you can just start looking around the building and see exactly where different things are and
Different
turn
things
on
are.
and off like what you want to see.
That's exactly. You can turn on and off the layers. Like if I don't want to see pipes. I only want to see like a cable trace or conduit.
Okay.
I can hide rest of items, leave the pipes, and just go there physically. You can do inspection, QA/QC. You can see
That's
if there's
incredible.
a clash, conflict between the design and existing condition. And in general, you want to see, they call it design validation. You want to validate if your design works in the field.
Right.
This is one of the biggest application for VisualLive, and another big application is install verification. So after the installation is done, so they want to make sure that everything is installed per design.
Okay.
One of the problems that we have in most of these construction companies and all these buildings is that design tells you the pipe should be here, but people go to the field and they install on their own.
Right.
And it makes owner and general contractor mad, so because they cannot document it. So now they put the glass on and they can do inspection, QA/QC, make sure they call it as-built verification. So
That's incredible. So you could just walk around the building, look at it, and see this is where it should be because the 3D is like modeling it on top of reality.
Reality, yes.
And wow, this is like basically the future of construction. Were you guys the first to do this sort of augmented reality for construction?
Yeah, I was the first one doing that. So basically, when Microsoft built this augmented reality concept, it was not even AR kit on the iPhone, iPad yet.
Wow.
So Apple announced AR kit in the late October 2017.
Okay.
So augmented reality, pretty much, the concept was out there,
right?
But nothing come to like a massive production that people can use it easily on a daily basis.
And now you can do the same thing with your phone.
With your phone and tablet.
So you can just point your phone, like camera, to a portion of the building and see the piping or electrical or whatever wiring the same way that you would see it with the HoloLens, but you don't need the HoloLens.
Yeah, so the HoloLens is cool because it's hands-free, so you don't need to hold your phone and walk around.
Right.
But with the iPhone or iPad, you have to hold it and walk around in the building.
Yeah.
You know? Accuracy of the HoloLens is more than iPad because iPhone, iPad using one camera and one LiDAR with the new technology of the new iPhones.
Right.
But HoloLens has like 6 of them.
Wow.
So with that, they can actually do 360 LiDAR mapping. So the accuracy is way more than a normal iPhone or iPad.
That's incredible. And then, like, what gave you this idea? Like, how did you just start this company?
Yeah. So I moved to United States back in 2012.
Okay.
So
which is incredible on its own, by the way. You've been here in the U.S. for only 9 years.
9 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So when I moved here, I had a company before that, so I can probably talk about it later.
You're the reason we shouldn't allow immigrants to the U.S., by the way. You come over here and take away my jobs. No, I'm just...
So,
me being a longer immigrant is not... I don't want new immigrants to bring in competition, goddammit.
U.S. has built a great infrastructure for entrepreneurs, you know? So here is like a blast. Here's like a great opportunity that the whole system of finance, the whole system of buying, selling, the whole system is set up to have a business, you know. I mean, I had a business in Iran too, but it was nothing close to what I had here. But I can talk about
we'll
it
talk
later.
about Iran later.
But when I moved here, I wanted to actually start fresh. So I need to learn English. I need to learn how people do trading here, how business works in general. So I thought probably it's best to start with a school. So I went to Tucson, U of A, to start my master's, and then
in what?
Engineering management.
Okay.
So I started my master's there, and then it's a cool story actually to tell you this because actually how I end up being in construction. So it's cool because I had a friend in a school 2 months after I started my school. He was a classmate. He was from Iraq too. So his background was civil engineering. So we were sitting in the class, and he was like, Saeed, what are you up to after this class? I was like, I want to go home. He was like, no, come with me. There's a thing called career fair. So you can different companies come here, right?
Yeah.
And
the career fair.
The career fair, yeah. And
U of A.
U of A. So I was like, what is that? I said, no, it's good. So and there's a construction company coming over there too. So I want to check with them and see if they have any available positions. So I was like, construction. I mean, yeah, it's good for you. I don't want to be in construction. And my resume and my background is totally different. So, but he was like, no, come over there. You know, they have food. It's fun. So I was like, oh, okay. So I have nothing to do after the class. So let's go. And anyway, so we went there, and this is still cool to remember this stuff. So actually, it was only 10 of us, and it was a big career fair, this construction company. So they came in, they said, we have a lot of jobs in Arizona. And so anyway, I have my resume ready, so I printed it out. And the next day was an interview with the construction company. So it was like 4 months or 3 months after I started with my master's degree. So then the guy, I was like, it's good because I can interview the guy, I can practice, practice.
You get some exposure.
I can practice English and interview and how it works. So then the guy was like, your resume, you're talking about the software, you had a big company before, so why are you here? So why you apply for construction company? I was like, no, I think I can fit here, so I want to start fresh, I want to start something new. And he was like, okay, if you have any opportunity, we will call you. But they didn't call me. I think 5 out of 10 was hired, and rest people, so we didn't get hired. But I remember 2 months after that, so they had this large semiconductor project, Intel job here in Chandler, and they called me and said, I was like, are you still interested to work here? I was like, sure. So that's how I started in construction company.
Okay.
So it was they had a large project, an Intel project down in Chandler. So, and I started there as a laser scanning and 3D modeling. So it was the technology. So that they wanted to apply to that specific project. So it was a very complex project. So it was very existing condition was very spaghetti of the pipes, and they want to apply 3D model to and scanning to that building.
Had you done 3D modeling before?
No, I didn't.
You'd never done 3D modeling. So they asked you to come in and do this 3D modeling.
3D modeling and laser scanning. So they were super desperate to get people. So I mean, because the way that general contractor works, so they get paid by owner per people. So sometimes.
Okay.
And they want to get people as soon as possible to train them and get them on board. So
wow.
And it was cool.
That's probably what's happening now with the Intel $20 billion project that's going on.
Because there's not a lot of, to find a good talent, in Chandler and Arizona is hard,
Right.
So, and that's how I ended up being in construction. So I started there, but because of my background in programming and stuff, so I ended up doing a lot of automations for them, for like a cost estimation and stuff. I made a lot of like applications quickly for them. So I was kind of doing different jobs at the same time doing laser scanning and 3D modeling.
Okay.
So when I saw the challenge of how much time and effort we have to spend to a project to actually get a 3D model and get a laser scan and see if the design clashed the existing condition over there, and I saw that cost us like $9 million every year that this construction company spent to actually get these issues and clashes and conflicts to find those in the field.
Wow.
So this is actually how, when you say why you start this, so this is how the idea starts. So actually, to actually make it something easier for them. At the same time, I started seeing all these software bills, I mean, in Iran, we never pay for software.
Well, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, I was like, can software companies make money? So,
right.
Yeah, because when you go to a software store, you just go there because there's no copyright in Iran, right? You can get like 20.
The copyright enforcement isn't there, so
nothing is
everything
there.
is pirated.
Yeah, and you can buy like 20,000 software pieces, with 20 CDs, with just $5. So,
right.
But when I came here at Intel, I started seeing all these software bills, like it's very simple software, SaaS software, doing estimation, something that I was easily can make, right? These guys charging $200,000 per year, the company.
Wow.
The other software, 3D software, this processing software, I was like seeing, companies paying like millions, and Intel is paying probably 6-7 figures for some of these softwares, And these two ideas came together for me to refresh my memory and say, I need to actually, if I want to have a business, software probably is very cool.
Yeah.
so because you just make a software, right?
Once
and just sell a license key.
Right.
So, and if my company is paying $200,000 for this software. There are 1,000 companies like my company,
Right.
like $20 million out there, right? And just the software, it was crazy. So then I started educating myself in the software. Because my knowledge in software was old basic C++, a very long time ago. I used to do programming. So I started to learning C#, .NET, and Unity, actually. Because Unity is a 3D software for
Right.
game, and it was this Oculus Rift, with the virtual reality that
Yeah.
came to the market, that you had to know Unity in order to build anything on the Oculus Rift. So in a spare time, I was doing this stuff with my, I was like in weekends and stuff. I was doing virtual reality stuff to actually learn it. So anyway, I educated myself on the software to learn how to code. At the same time, I saw this opportunity. So when Microsoft HoloLens came in late 2016, it was
That's when you saw.
when I saw opportunity, was like, oh, this is because virtual reality is good for the office.
Right.
So when architects using the office, but
Right.
when you go to the field, you want
You
to
need
actually
augmented reality.
augmented reality is the one that for construction company applies.
Yeah.
Because you want to do QC, design validation, inspection in the field. I was like, this is going to change the future.
That's
and
awesome.
no one has done that. So I can make something on this,
Yeah.
and make a difference. So anyway, I got a HoloLens device. I started programming at nights, weekends. So made some prototype and worked out very well. So I thought this can be a replacement for laser scanning and old school of 3D modeling that we do.
Right.
Because we don't have to take a scans, bring it to the office. So we can actually take a model to the field, and it saves 7 days.
Right.
A lot of labor hours. So
Wow.
that's how I started the company.
That's incredible. And I went on your website before this interview, and it's like you're selling this product and as a like monthly subscription for like $99 a month per user or something like
For
that.
the
right?
iPad version, yes.
For the iPad version. So like something that was costing tens of thousands or maybe even close to $1 million, you could now do for like $99 a
per
month.
month. Yes, that's exactly
Like literally,
right.
is that like the difference between?
That's a big difference. Yes. So that's
Holy cow!
I mean, it was no brainer for most of customers, to
Right.
compare the old school inspections with highlighter and 2D drawing.
Right. Are there people who still do it that way? Like, or,
There are still a lot of people doing it that way. Yes.
that's incredible.
So and there's a huge market to actually apply this augmented reality. So if you look at AR, VR, in general, it's still new, but
Yeah.
there's a huge market out there for all these applications. As long as you just find a niche, find the real application, how to apply it to real industrial project, real manufacturing and construction project,
Right.
there are good money out there.
That's awesome. So once you created the first version of the product, did it just like immediately take off, or did you have to work hard to like show the benefit of like, hey, look at what I have, and people are like, no, we already know what we're doing.
So first, when I started this, I didn't want to quit my job right away.
Right.
I was like, this is a good company, so good salary. So I was still in comfort zone. I was like, let's put it as a side app, so as a secondary business or as a secondary thing that out sort of income, right?
Right.
And see how it goes. So anyway, so I made the software. I uploaded it to the website, and then I made a YouTube video in my backyard in the neighborhood. So put a HoloLens, and you can actually get your model file to the field. And I put a YouTube video out there and put a button in the website. You can get a free trial.
Okay.
And people start getting free trial. I didn't have any pricing strategy or any strategy how to sell it or how. I didn't even have a pricing at that time. So it was just
Okay.
let people try it. I don't know how many people out there they have a HoloLens. HoloLens was $5,000.
Right.
And we didn't have an iPhone, iPad that time. So it was the only HoloLens version. And I didn't know that there are many HoloLenses out there. So I thought probably.
Yeah. Microsoft never really pushed HoloLens, actually, because of probably price.
Yeah.
It never took off in a significant way. So were there a lot of people who were using HoloLens?
So that's the thing. I didn't know it until actually I came to the market.
Okay.
So I put a video. I was like, so let's see if there are people buying it. So, and then when I put it there, I still remember that it was like a 3 days after that, I was out of town, and I got an email that one of the clients said, I tried your software. It's super cool. I want to buy a subscription. Send me invoice. What's the pricing?
Send me invoice.
So, yeah, send me. I want to pay right now. I was like,
how much should I charge?
How much should I charge? How should I put the invoice together? I was driving. I was out of town, and my wife was next to me. I told my wife, oh, someone wants to pay for this. I don't know. What pricing do you think I need to do? And she was like, I don't know. So we ended up pulling over to a restaurant. So over there, I had like my laptop. So I connected to hotspot. I was like, I checked some of the virtual reality companies out there, some brand new ones. So they charge $299 per month. I was like, so if people pay $299 per month, I'm going to put $299 invoice for him. $299 per month,
okay.
So 1 month. And then I was like, okay, how can I put together invoice so I can get paid? So I was researching online.
This is awesome.
Yeah. And then I found a PayPal, so it's easy to do. So I signed up there, but it didn't give you immediately that you can actually send the invoice. So
right.
I had customer service on the phone call, say, hey, this is to verify your identity, the business tax ID, this stuff. So anyway, I put together invoice, sent it to that guy, and I started driving. That guy paid. I got a notification. That guy paid. I was
my God! Like within
like 2-3 days. And the next day after that, someone from Taiwan paid it.
Wow.
So that guy, the first guy was in Canada, and the other was in Taiwan.
So you're in international business, right?
Yeah,
off the bat.
I opened my eyes that they don't have to be here. They don't have to. So it's an international business. Software, you can sell it to anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So, and then I remember that like 2-3 weeks after that, that my first client was like, send me the pricing. I was like $299 per month. And he was like, okay, send us a bill for the annual because and send me the W-9. I was like, what is W-9? I started searching on internet. So and then W-9 is tax ID stuff. And you need to send it to these clients. So because they mail a check, they want to send you 1099 at the end of the year. I didn't know this stuff. I learned as I was going. So I didn't have a business here. So and then that guy paid $2,900. I was like, oh. So these guys are paying annual. So now let's only charge annual for now, right? And if the client actually objected, so then give it monthly. So I started charging annually, and then I remember that 2 months after launching the product to that YouTube video and this stuff. So a client purchased that purchased actually one license from me for annual. So he emailed me and was like, we just got 22 more HoloLenses. Send me invoice for 22 of your software.
Oh my God!
For the whole year, it was like $65,000.
Didn't even try to negotiate. Nothing.
So it was like a no-brainer for him. And it was like $65,000. It can be like my salary.
That is mind blowing.
Yeah. So I was not sure, and then I put together that, sent it to him, and he issued a PO to me, purchase order. I was not sure if PO is gonna be legit or not. I checked some of my friends, checked on the internet, and sounds like PO is legit form of the. I was like, at the worst case scenario, I'm gonna stop their subscriptions, right? Because I had like an admin server and stuff. So I issued to them, and the check mailed to me after 1.
And it cashed.
Week.
You're like,
I cashed it. Wow, this is that was a big turning point for VisualLive. It was 2 months after launch that I saw this client pay $60,000. I was like, there are 1,000 companies, and that company was not a big company. It was a local electrical company, And I was like, there are thousands of these type of company out there.
Right.
So if I can sell to 1,000 company at $60,000, so $60 million. So I quit my job right away.
Yeah.
I said, worst case, I got my full salary here, right? And I can actually build, working on the project and making it better, improving, and actually build a company by that. So anyway, I quit my job, and then I started looking at software developer because I didn't have, I had to focus on sales and marketing and stuff, right? And my software was not polished, and my software was crazy. I just made it to work. It was like 3 months of like working, It's funny. It was full C# script, no libraries, no dependency, nothing. Just one big line, like 2,000 codes in one file. So it was like someone needs to take care of this. And Apple came up with the AR kit on iPhone, iPad. So I was like, not everyone has a HoloLens, so we need to put it on iPhone, iPad. I need to find a software developer. And anyway, so I started looking in the Valley to actually find a software developer who's willing to work for me as a contractor first, and then hire as a full-time employee.
Right.
And I checked different places. I checked different blogs, different locations, and then I end up going to AR/VR community in the Phoenix Valley to find the talents over there.
Right.
And they told me that there's a university here called UAT.
Right.
University of Applied Technology, something like that.
Yeah.
Down in the Mesa, I believe. They teach Unity and C#, so that's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So I went there and I was asking around, and see if there's people who wants to work with me. I checked their different teachers, instructors, who's the best people here, and everyone pointed to the person. So this guy is a good guy. This guy,
you immediately found like the best guy. Okay.
And it was perfect because he was looking for a job. He was desperately looking for a job and couldn't find a good job, right? And he was just graduated. He didn't have that much money to start something, And then it worked out very well. So I was not sure if he's going to do that. So I gave him like a small project. Hey, just make this a small project. I did it like quickly in like 10 minutes, and our project in 1 hour. So
nice.
Yeah, and
so you found your first employee.
Yeah, I found my first employee who ended up to be CTO of VisualLive. So.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And did he go to Unity?
Unity, yes.
He's there today.
He's there today.
What an incredible story! And you started this company only 5 years ago.
2017.
2016, you mentioned you started.
2016, the idea started.
Okay, 2017 is when.
2017, yeah.
So 4 years.
June 2017, I started the company.
I don't like you, Saeed.
In
so much 4 years, yeah. That's incredible. And how many people did you have? Like, what can you tell us about the size of the company or amount you sold for, or whatever you can share? I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but.
So 2017, I started. 2020, the negotiation started for acquisition. 2021, in March, I sold it.
To Unity?
To Unity. The revenue of 2020 was over $4 million.
Okay.
And we had 25 people, 15 full-time employees and 10 contractors.
Wow. What an incredible story.
Yeah, so it was great.
All organically, you didn't take any outside capital?
I didn't know how. I mean...
I love it.
So I got a lot of emails, of course, during these 3 or 4 years from different investors,
Right.
When I was going to different trade shows, everyone was approaching me. But my mindset was this, that clients can pay you money, right? So if clients can pay you and they don't they expect to give them the equity, right? So why do I need to raise fund? So the business was profitable. So, and I was used to organic system anyway because I had business in Iran too.
This idea of creating a product and having revenues and not raising money is it doesn't compute. It doesn't, no. Like, this is the way it used to be. This is how companies were created.
I know.
But today, nobody does it that way, which is kind of interesting.
Everyone's looking for investors, And actually, my friends told me, there's something called angel investor or seed round or Series A. But over these 3-4 years, I was only focusing on clients.
Right.
Because I was in mindset that $60,000 should go to 1,000 construction companies.
Right.
I was doing everything to get to that number, right?
You were thinking there's $60 million of potential revenue here. If one company can pay me 60, 1,000 companies can
do that because they saw value.
Yeah.
So they should be able to actually.
And this is why Unity is excited, because they also see the same potential, but they're like, why don't we acquire him while he's small?
And then make it bigger. Yes. That's right.
That's awesome. What's it like working for a big company now?
It's slow. A lot of meetings. But
They're not-
they
they're
do
not-
things right.
Yeah, they're not pulling over to a restaurant trying to figure out what the price should be.
That's right. No, they do everything right. They have infrastructure for everything, but things takes longer time. So
Yeah.
I used to make decision and immediately happen, right? But now we need to go to different channel, get permissions, get all teams involved. Things does not execute as quickly as like a startup company.
Yeah.
And it's a public company. You need to make sure everything is perfect.
The lawyers get involved.
Lawyers involved, terms and conditions. So, there are clients out there that when they send a PO, they have their own terms. So now the lawyers need to actually check it out to make sure everything looks good. So
Yeah.
we used to just sign it and just getting excited, like get the cash, right? But now things are a little bit more complicated. But we are setting all infrastructure now to get to those numbers of 60 million, 70 million, 80 million revenue, hopefully very soon.
That's awesome. That is incredible. And the fact that you did that in a matter of 4 years makes it even more incredible. So just huge congrats on all of that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What's the first thing you did after you sold?
So I started traveling because I didn't have a normal life, So, having a software company and having a company, managing all these employees, payroll, paychecks, all this accounting stuff, checking balance sheet, cash flow all the time. So all my weekends for these 3 years, I was spending on these financial of the company, right?
Right.
So the exciting part of coding, programming is just first part of that. So once you started real CEO, so you see the different challenges and dealing with the cash of the company. So, but after acquisition, I started to relaxing a little bit. So my life was going very quickly, very fast, right, all over the place. But now calming down, so and doing things that I really wanted to do, like music or traveling that I always wanted to do.
You're actually, I've heard you play, which you're also an incredibly talented musician. Like, where did you pick up the musical talent?
So I learned playing piano when I was 10.
Okay.
So then...
Is that because of family? Like, did your parents play or?
My cousins.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I started learning guitar when I was 14.
Okay.
So then when I was in...
And you just stuck with it the whole time? Did you take lessons or?
No. I I love self-learning in general. So even programming, I learned it on YouTube. So, the whole Unity C# programming, so I didn't have any books, YouTube is my friend. So, and I
love that
myself. So.
What's funny is that for all the, negative that comes with YouTube and all of the sort of social media and online aspects, the fact that you can learn anything anywhere in the world now for free is an incredible, level playing field in some ways. Like, you could be in Iran learning off of those same YouTube videos essentially that you learn from, and you don't have to go to MIT or even or any school.
I had a friend over the weekend asking me, Saeed, I want to have a business, I want to actually go get an MBA, to start a business. I was like, why you want to waste your time? So education, it's the oldest school way, right? YouTube is out there. If you want to start a business, search I want to start a business in YouTube. They show you how to make your LLC, how to actually get your tax ID, how to start Shopify if you want to do Amazon, if you want to do anything that you want to do. So you don't have to get MBA necessarily to start a business. People are in the mindset.
In fact, they don't know. Like MBAs don't know how to start a business.
No,
they know
it's just education.
Yeah, there's a lot of like structural things that they know. Not to discount an MBA, but there's a lot of like practical step A, step B, step C that's missing from formal education. Even in computer science, it's that way. Like, computer science graduates don't necessarily know how to, coming out, they don't know how to set up a application from end to end in AWS, right?
That's right.
Like, why are we not teaching them that in school? Which is kind of interesting as well. Whereas on YouTube, you can know that in a few hours worth of tutorials and videos.
And that's it. So, I didn't go to computer science, engineering, or academic for that, right? I just learned the whole thing on YouTube, C# programming, Unity. So, and that's what I tell my friends or anyone ask me that, I tell them you need to learn skills,
Right.
not degree. Having MBA is going to add something to your signature. It's going to look very
Yeah.
cool, but in reality, so it's not going to start a business for you, that
Right.
MBA signature.
Did you
right?
ever finish your master's degree at U of A?
I changed it to off-campus.
Okay.
So, and I was working at Intel job site. I was doing my master's and finished it. Yeah.
Did you finish it before or after you started VisualLive?
So before.
Before,
So
okay.
it was back in 2013 that I finished it.
Did it help you in any way?
Only one class probably. So
Okay.
it was financial modeling. So I learned how to build like a cash flow, balance sheet.
Okay. So
income
like
and-
the
income
accounting,
statement,
like a
cost of
sort of
goods
an
sold.
accounting class.
Yeah, cost of goods sold is the stuff, right? And that's, it was like accounting class, yes.
Okay.
But something that I could have learned on YouTube too.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that if someone wants to learn it, so the whole business and all the challenges of the business, I didn't have a CFO in the company. So I learned all this stuff on my own too. So my point is that you can self-taught yourself.
Self-teach, yeah.
Yeah. So, and you don't need to go to a school necessarily to learn it.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. What did you do in Iran? You touched on the fact that you had a business in Iran. What were you doing there?
So I was in last year of my bachelor degree in Iran that I had a friend, and my friend was like, my father has a pistachio farm, and in Iran pistachio is a big
Yeah.
thing,
It's a big thing for me here too.
And the challenge that they have all the time every year is that it's frost. So
Okay.
during the springtime, frost damage the product, and they cannot actually get the full production off of these trees because when they bloom, the frost, the temperature goes below 32 degree freezing temperature, and there is no crop. So he was like, there are companies in the United States that they're building the wind machines that blow wind to the orchard and actually raise the temperature and avoids the frost. It's going to be for frost protection. And how about we think something like that, and we just make something for my dad as a prototype, and then we can make a business off of it. So I was like, that's cool.
I was wondering where this is going. So you guys built wind machines?
Wind machines, yeah.
Or fans, basically.
Fans, yeah. So huge fans, like 15 foot tall,
Okay.
and the propeller of 6 foot. So that you just put it in the orchard. It spins 360, so it blow airs like heavily to the orchard for like 10 acres for each machine.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and
one machine could cover 10 acres?
10 acres, yeah.
That's incredible.
It's
Like
like-
it has to like generate some serious wind for it to reach
Yes.
the out.
So it's 6 foot propeller. So
Wow.
you get 3 of them, and it blows air to the
But
orchard.
don't there like trees that are close to it? Like,
It's not too bad because it's like 15 foot tall. Oh, sorry, 40 foot tall, 50 meter. So
okay.
40 foot tall. And then, no, it's not like a crazy wind. But the problem is that during the springtime, when there is no wind and the surface of the orchard gets very cold, but when you go 40 feet or 50 feet from the surface, so it's like 10 degree warmer.
Oh, really?
So pretty much you push the air down, and actually it's gonna avoid the frost.
Wow.
It's a technology is here in Washington State, in California. If you go to like wineries, you can see all these machines.
That's interesting.
Have you seen those?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, if you go to wineries, you can see that like these wind machines. That it's all over
That's
the
so
place.
interesting. I don't know if I've seen it and not noticed it or what. But so your company created these wind machines for orchards in
We
Iran.
pretty much reverse engineered that and put in production in Iran. We just made a prototype of that, so it worked out very well. And for 6 years, I had that business in Iran.
And how big did that become?
So nothing very big. The last years of my business, it was a huge sanction on Iran, so we couldn't import those propellers from Italy.
Okay.
So then we didn't have like enough supply to actually build those machines, and frost did not hit the orchard last 2-3 years. The economy was very bad too. So the first 2-3 years it was very good. So that business was good, but the last 2-3 years was not very good that time. So that was the time I decided to move here too.
And actually, let's talk about that for a minute. What brought you here? Like, why did you decide I'm going to go to the U.S. and like, what was that process like?
My wife actually she won lottery. So,
Oh,
yeah,
like the green card
the
lottery?
green card lottery. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was back in 2010,
Okay.
and then applied for me. So then,
So did she come to the U.S. to get her green card? Is that how that works?
no,
or,
you just apply like applications. I think 2,000 people can apply for that every year. So it's like,
or 2,000 people get it?
get it. I think I
Okay.
don't know exactly the numbers, but she got it and she applied for me. So I was able to actually get it like within 1 year or so. But
After she got hers?
after she got hers.
Okay.
I got mine back in 20.
So you're the result of chain migration. Man, this is like the worst of all. just messing with you.
And then for about like 2 years, I was going back and forth, But in order to maintain your green card, you had to actually leave.
Okay.
I have to live here. And it was a good timing because my business in Iran was not doing very good because of all the sanctions and the problems that we had. It was a seasonal business too. And I had to come here too, so it worked out very well at the timing of that.
And remind me, it was 2012 that you moved to the U.S.?
2012, yeah.
Okay. So growing up, were you fine with living in Iran? What was that like? Or did you always think that someday I want to go to the U.S.?
No, I didn't think of someday I will go to U.S. So I was thinking that there are millions of opportunities in Iran. So many products like wind machine, for example.
Right.
So that you can, I still think no one's built it over there, like it grown like a big business out of that and wind machines. But so many business out there, so many products out there that is not touched yet at all.
Right.
I was always under impression that we can make a big difference over there, right? To actually build some products, some services, that others they have it in the foreign countries, but we can build it in Iran. I didn't think of US that much, but now that I'm here, now that I had a business here, I see I had a blast. I mean, this is good country. I mean, we are selling internationally to all countries, but the US clients are always the best. So in terms of the capital that they have, in terms of the forward thinking that they are, and I didn't have any problem like I told you about the PO process. So
Right.
when they issue PO, for sure you get a check, right?
Right.
I didn't have any problem with debt problems problems like
Debt collection.
Debt collections,
Yeah.
actually, I was say. Nothing like that. So, I mean, but in Iran, there's always challenge like this. And the finance system here is very good. So I never took a loan, but if you want to take a loan for a business, there are millions of opportunities out there. So
Right.
overall, the market size here is huge. And having business here is way easier than having business at least in Iran.
Right. What are some of those key differences? Like you, especially since you built a business in Iran, is the setting up process similar in the sense that you have to get a business license and tax license and all that stuff? Is that aspect of it similar?
Yeah. The LLC is same, tax ID is same.
So there's some level of capitalism that happens, like open capitalism that happens in Iran as well.
Yes.
That's similar to the U.S. It's just that the opportunity is greater here because you don't have sanctions on you. You don't have like those types of things. Is that?
So here the payments are very easier. So
Okay. Like people actually pay you as opposed to like promising to pay you and then not paying
that's right.
you. Okay.
And I mean, because people have more money than Iran, right? Iran,
Right.
you can see probably 10% of the country, they have money, but 90% of that they're suffering or they're actually struggling every day, with the life.
Right.
But here you have 350 million people that I would say probably 60-70% of them, they're willing to pay, right? For different subscriptions, for different, when they go to a store, they buy a lot of stuff. They buy apps, they buy hardware product, it's a consumer market here.
Right.
And the payments are very easy. They have like a credit card. In Iran, there is no credit card. With Visa, with MasterCard, with all these systems that is in place here, there is no financing in Iran neither, right? So you can actually buy a car here with $30,000 and we start making payments, right?
Right.
But in Iran, you have to buy cash, double the price probably. So,
Because of the import tax.
import tax. You can buy a house here with mortgage. There's not such a mortgage in Iran. There's no business loan in Iran.
Right.
You can get a business loan in Iran, but you have to pay 35% interest rate.
Wow.
But you can get it like 2.5 or 3% interest rate. So the whole infrastructure here is easier for people to expand, and
Right.
make the economy growing.
Yeah. That's such a huge contrast. I mean,
Yeah.
that those things make they're all like little things that add up to become like major hurdles over
That's right,
when
yeah.
you add them all up. How like was your family like middle class in Iran or upper class? How did you like? What was it like growing up for you?
I would say upper class probably a little bit between so both of my parents were doctors,
Okay.
OBGYN. So
Okay, that's pretty awesome. And were you born before or after the revolution?
after revolution.
What year?
So it's 84,
Oh,
1984.
that's the year I came to the U.S.
Yeah.
actually. So, so you were born in the middle of the Iran-Iraq War,
Yes, that's right.
and what was it like growing up, like in Iran? Did you like?
I still remember it's scary, like a noise, So
You were in Tehran.
I was in Shiraz.
Okay,
Yes, Shiraz I think is like a fourth or fifth large cities in Iran.
so you were like 4 years old before the war ended. So
Yeah.
like, did you have some memories of like
I have
hiding
some
under
memories.
the door? What they call it, the door
siren,
structures,
the
the sirens
so,
and stuff.
the
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I still remember those days, and it was a scary, definitely,
Yeah.
to be in that situation.
What about after that? Like after the war ended, the Iran-Iraq war ended, like was growing up like normal for you, or like what was it like?
So, yeah, for me it was okay. So, but I mean, for the country never came back to normal. So after revolution, you can see.
But you didn't know any different, right? Like for you personally, like did you hear stories of what normal was like, or
You just hear the
I'm
stories
kind of
that-
curious when someone like grows up in that environment, what is different?
So you compare to the neighbors at least, right? Like what Dubai did or Turkey did. You
Okay.
know? So
Did you guys ever visit Dubai and Turkey?
Yeah, many times I've been in Dubai. So with my old business, I used to go to Dubai to import those propellers from Italy. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I actually recently was in Dubai too. So it was 2 months ago. 2 months ago. So when you compare it side by side, so you can see the difference.
Okay. So as an adult is when you started to see the differences between
differences.
Iran and other countries.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Those sanctions really hit Iranians. Yes.
So the outside sanctions that were enforced, they were hitting the Iranian people as opposed to the government changing their behavior.
That's right. Yes, probably it hit both. Actually, I think I don't want to get to the politics that much, but
it affected
does
you
affect-
personally, like to some degree, or like the people.
Of course, like
Yeah.
businesses too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like normal people, they can actually open LC, to just get, for example, the propeller from Italy, right? But we had to pay cash. We had to pay Dubai, like some with crazy exchange rate, with
Like the middleman fees.
Middleman fees. and
I
this
recently
stuff, so.
came back from Iran and I was shocked that like there's Apple stores in Iran. Literally every mall, they sell legit Apple products. And of course, Apple can't sell directly to Iran. And these stores look like identical to Apple stores.
No, but they're not Apple stores.
But they're not Apple stores. But they, I went to, and I started talking to some of them, and they're like, I asked them, where do you get your merchandise from? And they're like, we get it from Dubai. So like, so there's a middleman sort of in Dubai.
They're always middleman. They pay probably double the price that we pay here.
Yeah, everything is double
and
the
they
price.
cannot make Apple ID over there. So it's crazy. So they have worked around to make Apple ID.
Well, that's what blows me away. It's like if you get an Android phone, there isn't as many workarounds needed because, there's like Android alternatives for everything that's either in Iran or in countries that they don't care or whatever. But with Apple products, everything is a workaround. But the iPhone is the phone to have for people. It's like, why are you paying $2,000 for an iPhone when you can get an Android for like $200? And then you have to work around on everything. You can't use the App Store. And it blew me away.
I know. No, people, I mean, people in Iran wants to have the best technologies. They want to have Western technologies. Still, they think a Samsung is like a East technology, like a Korean, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the Apple is like a Western technology. So that's, I think, the only way that I can think of. But yeah, as you said, so Android is much easier to use there, but they prefer to get Apple with all these crazy workarounds they have to go through. Yeah. But there's so many talents over there, and something that makes me wonder that why the infrastructure cannot be good for a lot of people out there, which has a talent, to actually make a big difference. When I started this business, I had no clue. I had no clue about valuation. I had no clue about acquisition. I didn't have anything about exit strategy. I learned all this stuff over these 3 years, when I go to different trade shows, asking friends, asking you, people like that. So, but what I mean is that there's so many potentials that these Iranian people can do, but because they don't have access, like other countries, probably a lot of countries in Africa or Asia that they don't have this access to. But
talk about the universities in Iran, because you got your bachelor's degree in Iran, right? Which school did you go to?
Shiraz University.
Shiraz, okay. And how many universities are there in Iran, first of all? Is there a lot?
I don't know the exact number, but when I was trying to get to the university, it was like a competition exam that we had to do. It was very hard to get to the universities. So, but
what percentage get accepted?
Probably about 25%, something like that.
Okay, so you have to be in the top 25 percentile of high school graduates to be able to go to a university.
Go to the university.
Okay.
Back in the days, it was not a lot of these third-party university. It was all governmental universities, which is free tuitions, but they ranked better. And nowadays, they've made a lot of these third-party universities that you can get accepted easily, but they're not ranked very well, and they don't have a lot of good professors, or good classes over there. But
how did Shiraz University, where you went, how did that rank in comparison?
Shiraz was good, probably like a 15th biggest university, good university in Iran.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are dozens, are there hundreds of universities?
About hundreds of universities, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot more than I think a lot of people, including
in Iran,
myself.
They want to be engineer or they want to be doctor. So either or. So the family pushed them to be doctor or engineer. So
no art degrees?
No art, no lawyers.
Philosophy? You can philosophize about being poor in Iran.
So, and the funny thing is that I always wanted to be electrical engineer.
Okay.
So in my high school, I used to make these programming like 8051, so these microchips, this stuff.
Wow.
I wanted to make small robots, these are CNC machines, with a stepper motors, this stuff. So, but I wanted to be in my hometown too, which is Shiraz.
Okay.
So I chose electrical engineer, but I couldn't get accepted. So
to Shiraz in particular.
To Shiraz particular, yeah.
Okay.
And then I asked around, and everyone was like, "Yeah, Iran has a lot of oil, so petroleum here, chemical engineering, petrochemical engineering is very good. Choose that one." So anyway, I end up to get my bachelor's in chemical engineering.
Okay.
But I never work in chemical. I actually hate chemistry. So, but actually, because environment told me, hey, this is a good thing,
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I told you my story that was last year of my bachelor degree that I chose to be manufacturing of these wind machines. So, I never work in the...
Did you ever, or do you now dabble in any sort of hardware projects that use these microcontrollers or?
So these are my hobby projects now. So now I see software. You tell me.
You just do software.
I see the margins. I see.
You're like, hardware is too.
There's no cost of goods sold. I told you the other day that it blows me away that these software companies get this large valuation. I see 40 times revenue, 80 times revenue. And when I look at the income statement, there's the cost of goods sold probably is 2% of it.
Right.
Nothing. There's no material. There's no physical elements, right? And that's
just ones and zeros.
Makes a huge margin, yeah. And if I want to do another business, definitely software. So it's going to be another one. But in my hobby, in my spare time, I like music, electronic for sure, right? I play around with this Raspberry Pi stuff. So,
I was going to ask you, have you messed around with Raspberry Pi?
oh yeah, it's so cool.
What
I
have you
love
done with it? Any interesting
Just
projects?
home IoT, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a small robot, so I just fuck around the robot. So, just refresh my memories, you know, from what I did in high school. So, but if I want for business, software is number one.
When was the last time you went to Iran?
About 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Okay, so it was actually before you started your company.
Yeah.
You haven't been since then.
No.
Like if you let me ask you, like there's probably gonna be some people in Iran who might watch this. Do you have any advice for them? Like, what advice would you give yourself from 12 years ago if that person was going to be living in Iran? You know, like, well, if they hadn't won this green card lottery thing, that.
So, if they want to stay in Iran, or if they want to get out of
I think we should assume that they would be staying in Iran because you know it's difficult to come to the United States anyway.
Yeah.
So you know, like, what would be the advice?
So people in Iran, here's the thing. Here there is a college tuition that you have to pay, and they put you in the debt. So you have once you get out, so you have to pay every month. You have to pay off it's like a monthly thing that you have to pay. So most of my employees, when I hired them from out of the college, you know, one of their big concern was this student debt, you know, the loans.
Yeah.
And that actually motivates them to work harder, better, and build a career,
Okay.
build the skills, right? So it was two options for them: staying in their parents' house, right, or staying relaxed and no debt-free, or having debt, so they have to work for it and pay off that debt at the same time, build a career. So the thing is that about Iran is that most of the schools are free. And most of people in Iran, when they get out of the school, so they don't attempt to get a simple jobs.
Right.
When I started in construction project, it was not easy. So I started at 6 morning and that was 6 p.m. So I was working 12 hours. So getting dirty in construction projects, I was traveling to different airports and scanning. It was pulling up all these tiles. You know, it was like sometimes I felt like a labor, you know. So, but you have to do this stuff in order to make any success, you know. In Iran, the thing is that they think because they got a master's, so first of all, they go get a bachelor, they go get a master, a PhD, and then sit relax in the home. So someone gives me a job, right?
They feel more entitled.
That's right.
I now am a doctor and
Now
whatever.
So yeah, everyone should respect me. So the money comes out of the ceiling to me.
It should just come to you out of the sky.
But the thing is that the thing I like about people here, they start to even during the college time, they go work as a bartender.
Right. Or waitress or whatever.
Waitress, right?
Yeah.
So these are skills.
Waiting tables or...
Yeah, these are skills that these guys are learning. You know, American people are learning, but in Iran, they don't want, because they have a PhD or master's, or they don't think that they have to work like a entry level to many of these companies, do crazy shitty stuff,
Right.
then get promoted and then be a manager. They think that they have to be manager from day one.
Okay.
And my advice to them is that get any job, get the exposure out there, go try different things. You know, I hated construction. You know? I hated my hands to be dirty to be always. But actually, I took this job. I went to construction. I found the challenges. I found the need, that there's a need here that can be solved with the software. Then I found, okay, in order to that was a problem.
Right.
For the solution, software.
There's no way you could have had that idea had you not been putting in the hard work of being the guy who goes and gets his hands dirty.
That's right. You need to get your hands dirty, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you have money, or your parents have money, or you can live in their house, right? Or this is not good. So you have to go there, work there. Then you find opportunities.
Right.
Because there are still a lot of opportunities out there in Iran, right?
There's a lot of opportunity
There are
in Iran.
millions of opportunities out there in Iran, but people, they don't take initiative
Yeah.
to go start a small business. You don't have to start a business, right? Just go work for those companies that are doing this.
Yeah, I just happened to, my family, we visited Iran this past summer. We spent about a month there. And it is surprising how much opportunity there is there. And I was actually surprised at how many great tech startups there are there too.
Wow.
I mean, like that's probably something that's changed since you've last been there, because the startup scene has really accelerated in the past 6-7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't been there for a long time, 6 years. I don't know, but yeah, I heard many good things.
Yeah, I mean, basically the smartphone has changed everything worldwide, and most of that has happened in the past 10 years, and you haven't been there for the past 10, like 7 years or 6 years ago you were there. So like some of it had already started, but since then it has even accelerated. Like food delivery is everywhere now. Like
Wow.
just everyone's on motorcycles delivering food, so
That's awesome.
we would go to a store like who sells jewelry, and they're like, "Have a seat. We'll order you food. What would you like?" And we're like, "Oh, pizza sounds good. We're kind of hungry." And then like 10 minutes later, pizza shows up. It was just like it's amazing.
That's
and
awesome.
everyone's doing it sort of on their phones, which blew me away.
That's awesome. With
Yeah.
all these restrictions that they have,
Exactly.
that make it happen. So this is
Yeah.
mind blowing for sure.
But I think you nail it in that, like, you have to have this mindset of like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, start with the lowest entry level jobs to actually understand a system and understand where there's opportunities for improvement, and then attack those opportunities.
That's right. 'Cause look at
That advice
most
is
of the
really
employees that I
universal.
got was from out of college, right? All these guys at 25, 26 years old now, they have all these exposures
Right.
to the acquisition, to programming from ground up, all these codes, all this software development, technical support, all this stuff. They learn it, right?
Yeah.
These are skills that they can apply to any job and be successful. If they want to have their own journey of business, or if they want to apply to any large companies, they build a very good resume, right?
Right.
So, and that's my advice to anyone, not only people in Iran, right? Just get yourself exposures, right?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of taking any jobs, because there are opportunities in those jobs that you can find it and make a big difference.
Yeah. That's great advice. And it's universal. I mean, it's not just to people in Iran.
Of course.
Okay. What's next?
So,
Are you enjoying your work at Unity?
yeah, it's very good. It's a good company. So,
Unity makes some really cool products, actually. Like from a development standpoint, the product is so easy to use for programming and building 3D stuff. I actually happened to see like a YouTube video on someone just like starting a Unity project from scratch and building like this 3D model I was like, wow, I wouldn't even know where to begin on how to build something like that. And it sounds like Unity sort of provides you with the environment for 3D development right off the bat, right?
if it was not a Unity, I wouldn't be able to make the app, like a VisualLive app, the first version, in 3 months or so, right?
Yeah.
So Unity made it super easy and simple for anyone who wants to write the app, so that they take care of Unity Pro takes care of like a user interface easily. You can just drag and drop the buttons, and just easily hook up to events. So
Why hasn't Microsoft bought Unity?
It was in their plan to actually buy it, I think.
Oh, really?
So yeah, but I think so. I mean, this is not an official, definitely, but because Microsoft invested a lot in Unity too. So
Oh, they have an investment in it?
not invested money. So investing in terms of making these SDKs and mixed reality
Oh, gotcha.
SDKs
Gotcha.
and allowing anyone wants to build mixed reality apps, they have to use Unity.
Right.
But now, of course, they're working with Unreal too, with other game engines to actually make it more universal, not only exclusively to Unity. But for about 5-6 years, they've been only working with Unity. And Unity still is number one. So anyone wants to make a game, so it makes it super easy to make a game. If you want to make any mobile app, if you want to make any virtual reality, augmented reality. In fact, 70% of AR, VR apps are built
On
by
Unity?
Unity.
Really?
Yeah. If you want to build it from scratch, like writing code from scratch, you need to take care of the user interface, all these activities, compiling to put in different compilers. But Unity So you make your app, then when you compile it, tells you, do you want Android, do you want iOS, you want HoloLens, you want
Really?
virtual reality. You just press HoloLens, push the HoloLens, done.
Wow.
Yeah, so they take off everything behind the scene.
Does Unity's development environment also work on Macs or?
I don't think so. No, only Windows.
Okay.
I might be wrong. Yeah, it works on Mac. Sorry, it works on
does
Mac
work on-
and Windows.
Okay.
Both, yes.
That's super interesting. I got to check them out because it's funny because this past week I was like trying to figure out if I can program again, and I haven't written code for like more than 10 years, and finally I had to put the YouTube video like tutorials on and start. I was like, okay, I'm going to learn Python and I'm going to try to write something useful, and I'm getting back into it, and it's so much fun, and like I love
Awesome.
programming. I forgot that how much I love it, and I want to get back into it.
At least for your spare time, your hobby projects, you can make a quick app
Yeah.
with Unity.
I'm going to create this 3D augmented reality app where you can see pipelines and electrical wires.
With a QR code marker.
Can you help me? I'm going to launch a competitor to VisualLive.
Definitely.
That's funny.
But
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
no, I was going to say Unity is going to be a starting point for you.
Yeah, no, I'm going to check that out. That's great. If they have a Mac version, I'm
They have
not
Mac
giving
version,
up
yes.
my MacBook though. That's the thing, is that I hate Windows.
Yeah.
So,
But they do have Mac, yes.
yeah. All right. So now that you're sitting on some cash, are you investing, or are you like, what are you doing with your money? Or are you just, trying to figure that out, or?
Yeah, here or there, I do some investments. I get advice from you, other people.
Just
Some
my
of your
advice is terrible.
Yeah, some of your advice.
I'll show you how to turn $2 into $1 really quick.
I saw that in reality. But no, actually, working with some firms that they know how. I mean, I never investing in my life, so I'm learning that large cap, mid cap, this stuff. Now I started investing to these companies. I like high tech companies with a good growth that I believe that they're gonna grow. So, but yeah, so I'm learning.
That's
I'm
awesome.
Still learning, yeah.
Very cool. What else? Do you want to talk about anything else before we wrap up, Saeed?
No, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure.
So this is awesome.
love
This
these-
is very good information here, right?
I love these conversations, and I find value in every single conversation. So, I'm hoping that others do as well. But,
This is educational class, right? This is this is something that they put in the MBA. So you guys will have to watch AZ podcast, AZ Tech podcast, and then you're gonna be past this exam. So, but no, thank you very much for having this. So definitely
My
opens
pleasure.
eyes for a lot of people that they don't know what to do. They want to start a new business and they don't know what the outcome of that would look like.
yeah,
I personally didn't know the outcome of my business would look like this,
yeah,
and this stuff is gonna actually. I saw some of your podcasts that people talking about large numbers that they build quickly in some direct consumer market. It was very exciting stuff. So
yeah.
Anyway, so this is awesome stuff.
Thank you. Well, thanks
Of
for
course.
coming on as well.
Thank you. Of
Appreciate
course.
it, man.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, you made it to the end of the episode. I would love to get your feedback, so take a moment to leave a genuine review in your favorite podcast app. That also helps us reach more people. Speaking of reach, if you like a particular episode, be sure to share it with someone who you think would enjoy it. See you next time.